Welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The world watched as Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida stood with the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Not at a G7 summit, but at the BRICS Plus summit in Johannesburg, August 22, 2025. Japan, long America's closest ally in Asia, formally announced its intention to join BRICS, marking a seismic shift in global geopolitics. This decision is the result of years of economic anxiety and a pragmatic reassessment of Japan's national interests. The post-World War II order, once defined by American dominance, is being fundamentally challenged. For over 70 years, Japan's foreign policy was anchored to the United States, guaranteeing security and economic access. But the rise of China, the growing influence of India and Brazil, and a more unpredictable America have forced Tokyo to rethink its alliances. Japan's move to BRICS is a bold step into a multipolar future, signaling a diversification of its foreign policy. Japanese officials insist this isn't an abandonment of the West, but a necessary hedge in a fractured world. The implications are profound. The G7 looks diminished, while BRICS gains new credibility and economic weight. Japan's entry brings technological and financial power to the bloc, fundamentally altering the global balance. The world has entered a new era, defined by shifting alliances and intense competition. This moment is more than symbolic. It's a clear sign that the old order is giving way to something new. The question now, how will the rest of the world respond? To understand Japan's pivot, we must look back at former President Trump's America First trade policies. The sweeping 60% universal tariff of 2025 was a turning point, hitting allies and rivals alike, and disrupting global supply chains. For export-driven economies like Japan, this was a devastating blow, undermining the foundation of post-war alliances. Suddenly, the U.S. was no longer a reliable economic partner. Japanese industries faced closed markets, forcing Tokyo to confront its vulnerability to Washington's political whims. The shockwaves spread globally, pushing nations to seek alternatives to American protectionism. The EU retaliated with tariffs, and Asian nations accelerated regional economic frameworks that excluded the US. Ironically, Trump's tariffs isolated the US and fostered solidarity among those targeted. BRICS seized the moment, presenting themselves as champions of free trade and multilateralism. They courted countries like Japan, offering a seat at a new table where their interests would be protected. The invitation to BRICS was both economic and political, a chance for Japan to escape the unpredictability of a single powerful partner. Trump's policies, meant to strengthen America, ended up driving key allies toward its biggest rivals. The global order was upended, and Japan's decision was the clearest sign yet. The world's alliances were being rewritten. Japan's entry into BRICS is the most visible sign of a deeper realignment. Tokyo has been quietly diversifying its economic partnerships, moving beyond the G7. The BRICS economies are growing faster than the West, and Japan needs access to these dynamic markets to offset demographic decline and stagnant growth. Trade with China remains robust, ties with India are booming, and investments in Brazil's resources are rising. Even with Russia, Japan maintains energy links despite geopolitical tensions. This is a calculated strategy to reduce dependence on the US and build a resilient economic base. Japan has also led regional trade agreements like the CPTP, showing its willingness to chart its own course. Joining BRICS gives Japan influence in a major non-Western institution, shaping agendas from development finance to digital standards. The bloc is diverse and sometimes divided, but Tokyo believes the benefits outweigh the risks. Aligning with China and India requires diplomatic finesse, but Japan sees itself as a bridge between the old G7 order and new power centers. This realignment is about more than trade, it's about securing Japan's future in a changing world. The pivot is bold, but for Japan, it's a necessary evolution. The stakes could not be higher. Among Japan's new alliances, its partnership with India stands out. Both nations share democratic values, concerns about China, and complementary economic needs. Japan brings capital and technology. India offers a vast market and IT talent. Japanese investment is transforming India's infrastructure from high-speed rail to smart cities. Collaboration extends to AI, space, and cybersecurity, creating a new Asian tech ecosystem. Security ties are deepening with joint military exercises and intelligence sharing. By joining BRICS, Japan gains another forum to coordinate with India on global issues. The Indo-Japanese corridor is now a cornerstone of Japan's foreign policy. Together they are shaping the future of Asia and the world. Japan's decision to join BRICS alongside China is rooted in pragmatism. Despite historical grievances and rivalry, their economies are deeply intertwined. The Trump tariffs pushed both nations to cooperate, facing barriers to the U.S. market. BRICS offers a framework for managing economic ties without resolving every dispute. Tensions remain, territorial disputes and military concerns persist, but economic logic prevails. Engagement, not containment, is Japan's strategy, dialogue and integration over confrontation. This truce reduces the risk of conflict and boosts regional economic integration. Agreements like RCEP gain momentum, reflecting this new reality. Japan's move signals a shift to managing competition through diplomacy and trade. In a multipolar world, even old rivals must find ways to coexist. Japan's pivot extends to Brazil, a BRICS powerhouse and resource giant. As an island nation with few natural resources, Japan needs secure access to raw materials. Brazil supplies everything from iron ore to soybeans, vital for Japan's industries. Deepening ties through BRICS gives Japan more direct, reliable access, reducing vulnerability to global disruptions. In return, Brazil gains Japanese investment in technology, modernizing its infrastructure and agriculture. This partnership is mutually beneficial, creating a new economic logic for both nations. BRICS provides the architecture for this exchange, strengthening the bloc's cohesion. Japan's resource security is now tied to a broader, more resilient network. Japan's BRICS pivot sent shockwaves through Washington. The loss of its key Asian ally is a strategic and economic blow, especially in semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. The U.S. and Japan were deeply integrated in these sectors. Now, that relationship is under strain. Japan leads in materials and equipment for advanced microchips, and the U.S. remains reliant on its supply chain. With Japan aligning with BRICS, fears grow that critical components may be prioritized for new partners, including China. The pharmaceutical sector faces similar disruption as Japanese firms shift focus to BRICS markets. America's access to new drugs and technologies could slow while the BRICS bloc grows stronger. The dollar's dominance is threatened as BRICS nations trade in their own currencies. Trump's tariffs, meant to protect the U.S., have left it more isolated and vulnerable. The American economy faces a painful reassessment of its trade policies. The era of unilateral action is over. The U.S. must adapt to a new reality. Japan's move is a wake-up call for Washington. The global balance has shifted. India now occupies a unique position in the new global order. As a founding BRICS member and a key U.S. partner through the Quad, India is a crucial swing state. Its multi-aligned policy maximizes diplomatic leverage, engaging all major powers to advance its interests. India's partnership with the U.S. remains strong, but its role in BRICS is more important than ever. With Japan's entry, India's influence as a democratic counterweight within BRICS grows. BRICS gives India a platform to amplify the Global South's voice and push for reforms. India refuses to choose sides, building bridges between competing blocs. Japan's pivot validates India's approach. In a fragmented world, those who can navigate complexity will shape the future. Japan's move to BRICS is the clearest sign that the unipolar era is over. We've entered a multipolar world defined by shifting alliances and competing interests. The rise of BRICS Plus, now with Japan, institutionalizes this new reality. The bloc rivals the G7 in population, GDP, and technological power. Parallel systems for trade and finance are emerging, challenging U.S. dominance. For the West, this demands a strategic reassessment. Unilateralism has proven costly. The U.S. must learn to compete and cooperate in a crowded global arena. The future will be shaped by nations like Japan and India, building bridges between old and new power centers. The world is more complex, but not necessarily more chaotic. The 21st century is being remade before our eyes.